Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, or if you're new here, you're in for a nightmare you can't pause. Imagine this, you're alone at 3 a.m., broke as hell, and one single click on a shady job offer unleashes a Vatican secret that's been buried for 7 centuries. A secret that starts rewriting reality itself. And the worst part, if you're watching this, it might already be watching you back. They say some files in the secret archives were sealed because reading them invites something in, something the church erased from the Bible entirely. Tonight, that's exactly what happened to one freelancer. If you've ever scrolled for gigs late at night, ask yourself, would you have clicked accept for $25,000? Drop your answer in the comments right now, because this story will make you regret it if you would. Let's dive straight into hell. Chapter 1, The Midnight Gig. The crucifix on my wall just flipped upside down. I'm staring at it right now. Heart slamming against my ribs like it's trying to escape. The cheap wooden thing, Grandma's old gift, nailed there since I moved in, twisted on its hook with a crack so sharp it echoed like a gunshot in the quiet. Dust trickles from the nail hole, pattering onto the floorboards. Ash, my gray stray cat, is arched on the desk, fur bristling like she's electrified. Her green eyes locked on the same spot. She lets out this low, guttural yowl I've never heard from her before. Not fear, something primal, like recognition. Rewind 10 minutes. It's the dead of night, the kind where the city's asleep but your brain won't shut off. My apartment smells like stale ramen and desperation, the single lamp flickering every time the wind howls off Lake Michigan. Chicago winters creep in early, and tonight the cold seeps through the cracks, making my fingers numb on the keyboard. Ashes curled on my lap, her warmth the only real thing keeping me grounded. She's been my shadow since I found her half-frozen last year, ribs poking out, one ear torn from some fight. I feed her. She tolerates me. That's our deal. Tonight. Her tail thrashes slow, like she's sensing a storm I can't. I'm doom-scrolling freelance sites again. The blue light burning my eyes. Rejections pile up. Position filled, so budget cuts. Experience insufficient. My bank balance mocks me. $47. 32 until next month's nothing. Rent's overdue. Eviction notice tucked under a stack of bills I pretend don't exist. That's when the notification hits. Not the usual ping. This one's deeper, resonant, like a distant church bell tolling through the speakers. Private message. Client. Archivum secretum apostolicum. No avatar, no reviews, just a verified badge that shouldn't exist on a site like this. Job post, immediate remote digitization of restricted 14th century manuscript. $25,000 USD upon completion. NDA required. Begin tonight. 25,000. My breath catches. That's not a gig. That's salvation. I click in, hands shaking from caffeine and cold. The description is clinical. High-res scans of an illuminated chant book from the Vatican collections. Historians still argue about the secret archives. 85 kilometers of shelves holding everything from Knight Templar trial transcripts to letter about suppressed gospels that painted a darker picture of early Christianity. Some say there are texts in there about figures the church deliberately forgot, entities that didn't fit the Trinity, urban legends, mostly, but $25,000. I don't care if it's the devil's shopping list. The NDA loads, pages of legalese mixed with Latin clauses about eternal confidentiality and spiritual penalties. Whatever. I skim, sign digitally. Ash digs her claws into my thigh. A sharp warning pinch. Easy, girl, I mutter, stroking her back. Her fur's hot, almost feverish. Download starts immediately. A massive zip. Liber terti. Testis zip. Book of the Third Witness. Sounds archaic. Probably some obscure saint's hymnal. The progress bar inches along while I pace, the floor creaking under my socks. The fridge hums its usual lullaby, then clicks off. Silence swells, thick and wrong. File extracts, hundreds of high-res TIFFs. I open the first, breathtaking gold leaf angels with eyes that seem to follow. Intricate borders of vines twisting into halos. Latin text flows perfect. Musical notes dancing between lines. Harmless beauty. I fire up their custom scanning app. It auto-processes, uploading encrypted chunks. A progress counter ticks. $500, $1,000. Easy money. Ash leaps onto the desk, nose inches from the screen, sniffing like she smells rot. She refuses her treats, just stares, pupils dilated huge. Page 20, zooming in for detail. That's when the unease hits. Hidden in the illuminations, microscopic, deliberate, inverted crosses woven into the feathers of seraphim. The thorns on roses, not graffiti, artful, insidious. I zoom further, dozens per page, forming patterns that hurt to trace, like staring at an optical illusion that whispers wrongness. My skin crawls, Ash hisses, low and feral, backing away until she tumbles off the desk. More pages. The chants are Gregorian, soothing on the surface, but the margins, empty spaces between words, align into symbols if you connect them. Scholars debate these things. Some say medieval monks hid heresies in plain sight during times of Inquisition. Coincidence? Keep scanning. By page 50, eyes blurring. The app pings, encrypted layer detected. Unlock for full access. This will bind the session. Bind? Weird wording. Sweet, but the counter's at $8,000 virtual. Ash is under the bed now, only her tail visible, twitching like a metronome of dread. I click unlock. Screen dims. Then a new page fades in. Not scanned. Generated black void background. Stark white text centered. Accipicine testum tertium. Do you accept the third witness? 2 buttons glow. Yes, no. Cursor hovers over yes, pulsing like a heartbeat. Quick search on my phone. The phrase pulls up obscure forums. Whispers of a lost apocryphon. A gospel mentioning a third witness to the crucifixion. Something the early church allegedly burned entire libraries to erase. Not a saint. Something else. Debated if it was metaphor or literal. Ash emerges, yowls sharp enough to pierce, and swipes at the trackpad. Almost hits no, but $25,000. Rent, food, a life. Sorry, girl, I whisper, voice cracking. We need this? I click yes. The room plunges into silence. Fridge dead, wind gone, even my pulse thundering too loud. Then crack. The crucifix spins violent, slamming inverted with a splintering snap. Plaster dust rains. Ash screams, a sound cats shouldn't make, and bolts. I spin in my chair, breath fogging in sudden cold. The cross hangs wrong, Jesus' head down, eyes seeming to stare straight at me. On screen, new text fades in slow. Thank you for accepting the witness. Scanning will now commence fully. The cursor vanishes. The file starts opening pages on its own, and from the speakers, faint at first, like wind through cathedral vaults, a whisper in Latin, too soft to make out, but it feels like it's inside my skull. Ash peeks from under the bed, eyes reflecting the screen's glow, and for a split second, they look wrong, empty. What did I just let in? Chapter 2, Whispers from the Margins. The crucifix is still hanging upside down. I haven't touched it. Couldn't bring myself to. It's been maybe 20 minutes since that crack split the air, and the apartment feels heavier now, like the gravity's thicker in here than outside. Ash hasn't come out from under the bed. Every few seconds her tail flicks into view, gray fur trembling, then vanishes again. The cold that rushed in when I clicked yes hasn't left. My breath still fogs, curling slow in the laptop's blue glow. The screen sits frozen on that black page. The white text faded to a ghost. Thank you for accepting the witness. No new pages load. The scanning app shows 100% complete for the first batch, but the upload bar is stuck at 87%, pulsing like it's breathing. I should close it, delete everything, log off and pretend this was a glitch, a prank from some edgy Vatican intern with too much time. But the money counter in the corner just ticked over $12,000. Halfway, and something in me, the part that's tired of scraping by, of eating cereal with water because milk's a luxury, whispers keep going. I reach for the crucifix first. My fingers brush the wood, and it's ice cold, like it's been sitting in a freezer. The little brass Jesus figure feels wrong under my thumb. Head down, arms splayed like he's diving into hell. I flip it right side up. The nail screeches in the plaster, but it holds. For a second, relief floods me. Normal, fixed. See? Just a freak accident. Maybe a loose hook and wind. Ash peeks out then, green eyes narrowed, and lets out this low, rattling growl that vibrates through the floorboards. The laptop speakers crackle, not loud, just a pop, like old vinyl. Then singing, faint, layered voices, male and deep, chanting in Latin, Gregorian style, the kind you hear echoing in cathedrals on documentaries about medieval monks. But it's backward. The notes rise where they should fall, words slurred in reverse, like someone's playing a recording from the end. It leaks from the headphones coiled on the desk, even though they're not plugged in. The cord dangles loose, swaying gentle, as if the sound is pushing it. I yank the headphones away. The chanting doesn't stop. It gets inside my skull now, soft but insistent, threading through my thoughts. Tiem. The third witness, over and over, looped. My wrists itch. I glance down, nothing at first. Then, under the skin, faint purple lines bloom like ink injected too deep. They twist, connecting, forming a pattern, a circle broken by 3 intersecting spikes, one longer than the others, pointing down. It looks ancient, Gnostic. I've seen similar symbols in articles about early Christian sects that the church labeled heretical, groups who believed in forgotten emanations from God, entities that watched the crucifixion but weren't named in the Gospels. Scholars still argue if they were metaphors for doubt, or something real that got scrubbed from history during the big councils. The bruises pulse warmer now, like veins carrying something else. Ash explodes from under the bed, a gray blur launching onto the desk. She snarls, full teeth, ears flat, and swipes at the laptop screen. Claws rake across the glass, leaving white scratches over the frozen text. Ash, stop! I grab for her, but she twists free, hacks up this guttural hiss, and bats at the trackpad. The cursor jerks wild. The app unfreezes. New pages flood in automatically, faster than before, flipping like someone scrolling with invisible fingers. Page 68, 69, 70. Illuminations more vivid now, colors bleeding at the edges, angels with too many eyes, wings tangled in thorns that look suspiciously like the sigil on my wrists. I force myself to focus, scan, upload, money. That's the mantra. My grandma's voice echoes in my head, devout Catholic. Rosary beads clicking every night. Some doors, mijo, you close and never open. The church knows best. She died clutching that crucifix, the same one now, right side up on my wall. Coincidence? A footnote appears on page 84, tiny script in the margin. Almost missed. Sigillatus post exorcismum anno MCCXL vaus, quo septem cardinales perierunt, in conatu continendi testem tertium, sealed after the 1357 exorcism that claimed 7 cardinals. Real history flashes, the Black Death raging, the Avignon papacy fracturing the church, popes cursing each other from exile, whispers of forbidden rites in the archives to bind something unleashed during the plague. I shake it off. Old monk drama. The chanting swells, backward syllables drilling deeper. My head throbs in rhythm. Ash circles the laptop now, tail bottled up huge, pawing at the keys like she wants to smash them. Her claws click-clack, frantic. I keep scanning, hands on autopilot, zooming, enhancing. The bruises on my wrists darken, the sigil complete now, raised like a brand. It doesn't hurt, feels alive, tingling with each page flip. Page 112. The illumination shifts, a crucifixion scene, but wrong. 3 figures at the cross, the usual 2 thieves, and a third shadow, faceless, arms outstretched in mockery. The footnote here is longer, inked fresh somehow. He who was forgotten bears witness still. The headphones, still unplugged, spit a clear phrase forward this time, cutting through the reverse chant, "You accepted." Ash freezes. Her hackles drop flat. She stares past me, at the wall behind. I turn slow. The crucifix is upside down again. No crack this time. Silent. Like it never moved. My stomach drops. Ash backs away, pressing against my leg, trembling so hard I feel it in my bones. The screen flashes bright, searing white. For a split second, an image overlays everything, a grainy photo, old Polaroid style. Me as a kid, maybe 7, in a white baptism gown, water dripping from my hair, priest's hands on my head, family smiling in the background, mom, dad, grandma with her rosary. But my eyes in the photo, blacked out, scratched like claws did it. That's impossible. That picture burned in a house fire when I was 10. No digital copies, never uploaded, so gone. The flash dies, the photo vanishes, the regular page returns, innocent angels smiling, but the chanting stops dead. In the silence, Ash whimpers, small, broken, and from the speakers, one last whisper, clear as a breath on my neck. Your turn to witness. Chapter 3. The Cardinal's Warning. The baptism photo is still burned into my eyelids. Every time I blink, I see it, little me in white, eyes scratched out like something clawed them from the negative. The laptop screen has gone back to normal, Page 113 loading slow. Angels with their perfect smiles. But the room feels stained now, like the image left a residue on the air itself. Ash hasn't moved from her spot, pressed against my ankle, her body vibrating with that low, continuous growl that isn't a growl anymore. It's deeper, almost a prayer in reverse. The bruises on my wrists throb in time with my pulse, the sigil complete and raised, skin hot around the edges, like it's freshly tattooed by invisible fire. I need to stop. Delete the whole folder, factory reset the damn laptop, and throw it off the fire escape. But the money counter sits at $18,400, mocking me. So close. And part of me, the stupid, broke, exhausted part, whispers that the photo was just a glitch, a virus, some hacker's sick joke. The chanting has stopped. At least. The silence that replaced it is worse, thick, expectant, like the apartment is holding its breath. I reach for the trackpad to pause the upload when the screen freezes again. Not black this time. Incoming video call. No ringtone, just the window popping open full screen. Grainy feed already connected. The caller ID reads +3906 6982. Vatican City Exchange. Unlisted digits blacked out. My blood turns to ice. Ash digs her claws into my leg hard enough to draw blood, then bolts. Gray streak diving under the bed like she's fleeing hell itself. I should decline. I know I should. But the cursor moves on its own, hovers over accept, and clicks before I can stop it. The feed resolves. An old man in cardinal red, face half swallowed by shadow. The room behind him is stone, ancient, vault-like, lit by a single desk lamp that carves harsh lines across his features. He's wheezing, wet and ragged, like every breath costs him. Scarlet zucchetto askew, eyes sunken so deep they look like holes punched in parchment. The cross on his pectoral chain is upside down. He doesn't seem to notice. His voice crackles through the speakers. Italian accent thick, Latin underneath. You are the one who accepted. I can't speak. My mouth is sand. He leans closer. The lamp catches his eyes, milky with cataracts, but terrified. Delete it. Burn the machine. Salt the ashes. The third witness was never meant to be seen again. It watches back. Child. It always watches back. The words hit like communion wine turned vinegar. I find my voice. Who are you? How did you? Cardinal Lamberto, keeper of the sigillati since '89. He coughs, phlegm rattling. The manuscript you scan? It is not a chant book. It is the Liber Tertii Testis, written in blood and ash during the Great Schism, when popes cursed popes from Avignon to Rome, when the church tore itself in two because this thing whispered into the ears of the powerful. 7 cardinals tried to bind it in 1357. They burned for 40 days without dying. Their screams are still in the margins. My wrists burn hotter. The sigil pulses like a second heart. He clutches his chest, face contorting. It is the anti-Trinity, the space where faith goes to uncreate itself. The one who stood at Golgotha and laughed when the veil tore. Not devil, not angel, the forgotten. And now you have let it look through your eyes. The feed stutters behind him. Shadows move, wrong shapes, too tall, fingers too long. Please, I whisper, make it stop. You can stop it. Delete. Pray the Jesus prayer until your tongue bleeds. Do not finish the scan. Do not. His words cut to a scream. High. Animal. The camera shakes like someone grabbed the laptop. Black fluid, thick, wrong, pours from his eyes, his nose, his ears. It spatters the lens, turning the feed to oily streaks. His mouth stretches impossibly wide, teeth cracking as something pushes from inside. The scream warps, multiplies, like 7 voices layered over his. The call ends. Window slams shut. The apartment is dead silent again. I sit frozen, urine warm down my leg. I didn't even feel it happen. Ash is a trembling ball under the bed, only her eyes visible, reflecting the screen's glow. My phone buzzes on the desk. Bank alert. Deposit received. $25,000. Source, Archivum Secretum, Apostolicum Memo. Completion bonus, then another. Seconds later, deposit received 666 Source, tithe to the forgotten memo, with gratitude from the third witness. The money counter on the app hits 100%. Upload complete from under the bed. Ash makes a sound I've never heard from a cat, almost human. A single word, rasped through feline throat. Run. The laptop speakers crackle once more, soft, almost tender. A child's voice, my voice, age 7, from that baptism photo. Welcome home, Alex. Chapter 4, Miracles in Reverse. The child's voice, my voice, still echoes in the quiet. A sick little loop inside my head. Welcome home, Alex. I haven't moved from the chair. Can't. My legs feel like they've turned to wet cement, and the piss drying cold on my thigh is the only proof time's still passing. Ash is a tight ball under the bed, breathing fast and shallow, like she's dreaming of running, but her body's betrayed her. The laptop screen has gone dark, except for the money confirmation. 25,666 and 66 days total now. That extra tithe glowing red, like fresh blood on the transaction list. I keep staring at it, waiting for the punchline, the just kidding pop-up. The virus scan that says it was all malware. Nothing, just the soft hum of the fan, and somewhere deeper. That backward chant again, so quiet it's almost memory. I need air, need to think. I force myself up, knees popping, and shuffle to the kitchenette. The floor sticks under my socks. Coffee, something normal. I fumble with the machine, grounds spilling like black ash across the counter. The smell hits sharp, bitter, real, while it brews. I grab my phone to search Cardinal Lamberto death. Nothing yet. Maybe it hasn't hit the news. Maybe it wasn't real. Maybe I'm cracking. The TV remote is on the counter. I never turn the thing on anymore. Cable got cut months ago, but muscle memory kicks in. I mash the power button. The old flat screen flickers to life on whatever over-the-air channel it defaulted to last time I bothered. Static. Then a test pattern. Then, emergency crawl across the bottom. Breaking news. A blonde anchor. Makeup perfect even at this hour. Voice trembling just enough to sell it. Reports coming in from across the globe of what some are calling inverse miracles. We're getting live footage now from St. Peter's Square. Cut to shaky phone video. A priest in tattered black, face I vaguely recognize from some old excommunication scandal 20 years back, standing on the cathedral steps. His palms are up, and where stigmata should bleed open wounds, the skin is knitting closed, scars from old self-inflicted cuts sealing smooth, pink flesh blooming like time-lapse flowers. The crowd gasps. He opens his mouth and speaks, not Italian, not Latin, something guttural and dead, syllables that make the microphone feedback squeal, subtitles flash, Aramaic dialect, extinct since the 8th century. Listeners in the square drop to their knees, some laughing, some weeping, renouncing vows on the spot. There is no God. One nun screams in perfect English, clawing at her habit, only the space he left behind. The feed cuts back to the anchor, pale now. Similar incidents in Mexico City, Dublin, Manila, excommunicated clergy suddenly performing acts that defy doctrine, healings in reverse, possessions that feel like liberations. My coffee overflows, scalding my hand. I don't feel it. Back on the laptop. The screen wakes itself. The manuscript is open again, pages flipping slow without my touch. Text crawls across a fresh margin in handwriting that's mine, sloppy, hurried. The way I wrote when I was 12 and sneaking horror comics under the covers. You have awakened the relapse. Alex, the forgotten thanks you. The words shimmer, then sink into the digital parchment, like ink absorbing. A new illumination appears, the crucifixion, but the wounds on Christ's hands are closing, thorns falling away, the sky brightening behind him, unmaking the sacrifice. Ash crawls out from under the bed then, moving wrong, stiff, like her joints hurt. She jumps onto the desk, and in the laptop's glow, her eyes. They're not green anymore. The sigil pulses faint gold in her irises, the 3 spikes clear as brands. She stares at me, unblinking, and for the first time I wonder what she really is. Stray, or something that found me first. My phone buzzes, texts from numbers I haven't spoken to in years, old college friends who knew I was raised Catholic light. Dude, you seeing this shit? Priests healing by unholy spirit, or what LMAO. My aunt just called sobbing. Her parish priest from the 90s, the one they defrocked, showed up at her door speaking in tongues and forgave all her sins. She said it felt empty. I drop the phone. It clatters, screen cracking spiderweb. The family photos on the shelf, cheap frames from thrift stores. The only decoration I bothered with catch my eye. Mom at my first communion, arms around me, smile wide. Grandma holding baby me at baptism. Rosary wrapped around her wrist. I stumble over, pick one up. The colors are gone, desaturated to grayscale, like someone sucked the life out pixel by pixel. And the faces, religious ones, the aunts who became nuns, the uncle who was a deacon, all scratched out. Deep gouges, like claws dragged through the glossy paper while I wasn't looking. Grandma's eyes reduced to white slashes, Mom's mouth a ragged hole. I scream, can't help it. The frame slips from my fingers, glass shattering on the floor. Ash hisses, not at me, at the mirror on the bathroom door across the room. It's cracked from some old move. But the reflection, I see myself standing there. Coffee-stained shirt, piss-stained pants, face hollow. Then the image shifts. A red galero settles on my head, cardinal's hat heavy and velvet, tassels dripping like blood. My reflection smiles, slow, knowing, and raises a hand in blessing. The sigil on my wrist glows through the glass. I blink. The hat's gone. Just me, pale and shaking, but in the mirror, for a heartbeat longer. The smile lingers. The TV anchor is crying now. The Vatican has issued no comment, but sources say Pope Francis has locked himself in the apostolic palace with a single directive: pray for the relapse to end. From the laptop, my own handwriting appears again, Fresh, it won't end, Alex. It's only just begun to forget. Ash leaps down, presses her glowing eyes to my leg, and for the first time since I found her, she purrs, low, satisfied, like a job well done. Chapter 5, The Tomorrow Autopsies. Ash is still purring, and that's what breaks me. That low, satisfied rumble against my leg, like she's content now that the world is unraveling. I shove her away harder than I mean to. She lands light, spins once, and stares at me with those glowing sigil eyes. No anger, just ancient patience, like I'm the one who doesn't understand the rules yet. The family photos lie shattered on the floor, glass crunching under my bare feet as I back toward the laptop. Blood mixes with the coffee stains on the counter, but I don't feel the cuts. I feel hollowed out, like someone scooped faith-shaped chunks from my chest and left the cavity whistling. I have to end this. The manuscript is still open. That new illumination of the unmaking crucifixion pulsing faintly, as if breathing. I slam the trackpad, right-click, delete folder, drag the entire Liber Tertiae Testis directory to trash. Empty trash. Hold the power button until the laptop forces shutdown, fan winding down to silence, heart hammering. I yank the power cord, flip the machine over, and pop the battery for good measure. There, gone, for 3 blessed seconds. The apartment is quiet, then every light in the place, lamp, fridge bulb, the dead microwave clock, flickers once. My phone, face down on the floor, lights up. The old tablet I haven't charged since last Christmas hums awake on the shelf. Even the smart thermostat blinks red. All of them chime in perfect unison. New file detected. The folder is back. On every device, desktop, cloud drive, even burned into my phone's locked wallpaper now, an illuminated page glowing through the cracks. I open it with shaking fingers. The main directory has changed. New subfolders, dozens of them, each labeled with a name and a date. Cardinal Reinhard 2025, this 11 23. Cardinal Setsandri 2025, this is 11 23. Cardinal Parolin, this is 2025, this is 11 23. Cardinal Willet, 2025, it's 11 23. Tomorrow's date. I click the first one. A PDF loads. Official Vatican letterhead. But wrong. Autopsy report. Clinical and cold. Subject, Cardinal Mark Ouellet. Time of death, 06.14 tomorrow morning. Cause, spontaneous combustion during private adoration. Notes, subject observed praying the rosary when flames erupted internally. No external ignition source. Body reduced to ash in under 90 seconds. Residue formed perfect circle with 3 intersecting spikes. My stomach flips. I close it, open another, same format, different cardinal, same cause, same sigil sketched in the margin like a coroner's watermark. The TV, still on from earlier, cuts from commercial to breaking news. That same blonde anchor. Hair now messy. Eyes red. We are receiving unconfirmed reports out of Quebec. Cardinal Mark Ouellet, Prefect Emeritus of the Dicastery for Bishops, has died tragically in a fire at his private chapel. Authorities say the blaze was contained entirely to his body. Security footage shows him kneeling, rosary in hand, when he simply ignited. They roll the clip. Grainy infrared from a hallway camera. An old man in red kneels before a small altar. Flame blooms from his chest like a flower opening, bright and soundless. 90 seconds later, only ash and that perfect circle burned into the marble floor. I drop the phone. It clatters beside the shattered frames. The manuscript flips pages on its own again, stopping on a fresh one, Latin text. But English translation appears beneath in my own handwriting. The third witness is the void Judas left behind when the 30 pieces were returned. The field was bought, the rope cut. But the betrayal itself was never forgiven. It lingered, watched, waited for someone to look back. A new illumination, the Last Supper table, 13 figures, 12 apostles and Christ, but one seat empty. A black absence shaped like a man, edges bleeding shadow. The absence has eyes. I scream at the screen, no words, just raw sound, and smash delete. Command plus Q, Control plum Alt delete, everything. The file laughs. It duplicates faster, spawning copies C into subfolders, labeled with names I recognize from headlines, from conclaves, from the short list of future popes. Every deletion births 10 more. Ash pads across the keyboard then, silent as smoke. She drops something wet and heavy onto the trackpad. A sparrow, neck broken, eyes milky, wings spread and pinned by her paws into the exact shape of the sigil. 3 spikes, one longer, pointing down like an accusation. A single black feather sticks to the spacebar, glued by blood. She looks up at me and blinks slow, the glow in her irises flaring bright enough to cast shadows on the wall. For the first time, I see it clearly. The sigil isn't in her eyes. It is her eyes. The green was always a lie. The TV anchor is openly weeping now. Multiple sources confirming similar deaths across the College of Cardinals. Spontaneous combustion. Authorities at a loss. On the laptop, a new subfolder appears at the very top. Alex, 2025-11-24. I don't open it. I can't. Ash curls up on the keyboard, purring louder, and begins to lick the dead bird's feathers clean. Chapter 6, The Black Conclave. The dead sparrow is still on the keyboard, wings pinned open like a sacrifice. Its tiny chest doesn't rise. One black bead eye stares up at the ceiling, reflecting the laptop screen in a perfect, upside-down crucifixion. Ash sits beside it, tail curled neat around her paws, licking blood from her whiskers with slow, deliberate strokes. The sigil in her eyes has dulled to embers. But I can't look away from her, not anymore. Whatever she was before the dumpster, before the torn ear and the ribs, she isn't that now. She's part of the bookkeeping. I back away until my shoulders hit the wall. The plaster is ice, real ice, frost feathers out from the spot like cancer, crackling soft as it spreads. My breath comes out in white plumes that hang too long, curling into shapes, 3 spikes, always 3, before they dissolve. The temperature drop is sudden and vicious. My teeth chatter so hard I taste blood where I've bitten my tongue. Every screen wakes at once. The TV flares white, then resolves into footage that can't exist. Stone chamber, lit by guttering torches, somewhere deep, ancient, the kind of room you feel in your bones before you see it. Dozens of cardinals in scarlet, faces hidden under cassocks. But where faces should be, there's only mirror, polished, flawless, reflecting nothing but the viewer, me, my pale, piss-stained, terrified face staring back from 50 blank ovals. They sit in a perfect circle in the center, an empty papal throne carved from black oak, thorns instead of cushion. No sound at first, just the silent raising of hands, voting for something that isn't there yet. My laptop joins. The tablet, the phone, cracked face up on the floor, even the microwave display flickers to the same feed. The smart fridge door ices over and becomes another mirror, showing the same chamber from a different angle. I'm surrounded by the black conclave, and every mirrored face is mine. The Latin starts in the walls, not from speakers, from the drywall itself. Low, resonant, vibrating up through the floorboards into my spine, dies ire backwards. Then something older. The syllables burrow behind my eyes, translating themselves against my will. Hollow be the name, empty the kingdom, unmade the will. My tongue goes thick. I open my mouth to scream, and it swells, fast, like an allergic reaction from hell. Black ink floods the cavity, bitter and metallic, bubbling up my throat. I gag, claw at my lips. But the text is writing itself on the soft tissue inside, raised letters, Latin verses from the manuscript, branding themselves into flesh. I can feel each word burn home. Testis tertius, vacuus, relapsus. The pain is white hot, intimate, like swallowing molten scripture. Blood and ink drip from my chin in thick ropes. I stagger to the sink, spit black, watch it swirl down the drain in perfect sigils before the pipes gurgle and spit it back up. Darker. My phone vibrates against the tile, voicemail icon, one new message. The preview thumbnail is Mom's contact photo, her at my confirmation, arms around me, smiling like the world still made sense. I know I shouldn't play it. My thumb does anyway. Speaker crackles, her voice, but wrong, layered, as if spoken in a cathedral and a tomb at once. Slow, wet, every syllable stretched like taffy. Alex, mijo, why did you let it in? I felt it the moment you clicked yes. It's in the rosary beads now. They're warm, they're moving. I'm so proud you finally found faith again. But this isn't our God. A choking sound, then laughter that isn't hers. Too many throats. The message ends with the click of a landline, the kind she still uses because she never trusted cell phones, the kind that hasn't worked in her house since Dad died. I slide down the cabinets, knees to chest, ink still leaking from my mouth in slow, deliberate drops that spell words on the linoleum. Ash watches from the desk, tail flicking. The conclave on every screen raises their mirrored hands higher. The throne is no longer empty. A shape sits there, tall, thin, made of the same black absence from the Last Supper illumination. It wears the papal tiara, but the tiara is hollow, edges sharp as absence can be. The new pope has no face, only reflection. It lifts a hand in benediction toward the camera, toward me, the Latin in the walls crescendos, shaking dust from the ceiling. My swollen tongue tries to form the words against my will, prayer or curse. I can't tell. I lunge for the laptop, fingers slick with blood and ink, trying to slam it shut, unplug it, anything. Ash moves faster than I've ever seen. She launches, claws out, and rakes 4 burning lines across the back of my hand, skin parts like paper. I scream. Sound finally escapes, wet and gargled through the inky mess. She lands between me and the keyboard, back arched, fangs bared, sigil eyes blazing gold, not protecting me, protecting the ritual on the screens. The hollow pope stands. Every mirrored face turns at once, my face, 50 times over, and smiles with my mouth. The temperature drops again. Pipes groan. Frost races across the floor toward me, carrying the faint smell of incense and old ashes, and from the walls, the chant resolves into a single, clear sentence I understand perfectly. The throne is ready. Send us the next witness. Chapter 7. The Uncreation. The hollow Pope's mirrored smile is still on every screen when the laptop speakers speak with my mother's borrowed voice. Soft, almost kind. Alex, it says, it's time to choose. The feed from the black conclave collapses inward, sucked into a single white page that blooms across all displays at once. No borders, no menus, no escape. Just black text on blinding white. The way the very first, "Do you accept the witness?" page looked. Back when I still thought $25,000 could buy safety. The questions appears letter by letter, as if an invisible finger is typing on glass before the rooster crows. How many times will you deny me? 3 buttons fade in beneath it. Once, twice. Thrice a red timer starts at 10. 10. I laugh, or try to. It comes out wet and ragged through the swollen, inky ruin of my tongue. Of course. Peter's denial. They want me to play the apostle now. My hand hovers over the trackpad, bleeding from Ash's claw marks. She's crouched on the desk, ears flat, sigil eyes flaring like twin warning lamps. For the first time since the bird, she looks afraid. 9. I move the cursor to once. That's what Peter did the first time, right? Just once. A little lie to save his skin. I click. The apartment lurches. Not an earthquake, something subtler. A hiccup in reality. The taste of coffee, of blood, of the metallic ink in my mouth vanishes. Gone. My tongue is just meat now, thick and useless. I can't even taste my own panic. The page refreshes. Wrong. Try again. Timer resets to 10. 8. Ash hisses, a sound like tearing silk, and lunges, not at me this time, but at the screen. Her paws slam the trackpad. The cursor jerks to thrice and holds there, trembling. 7. I shove her away. She hits the floor hard, rights herself, and stares at me with something that might be betrayal if cats could feel that way. Or maybe it's pity. I click twice. The room tilts again, harder. Childhood memories peel off my mind like wet wallpaper. My 8th birthday, gone. The smell of Grandma's kitchen on Christmas Eve, erased. First kiss behind the bleachers. Her bubblegum lip gloss, nothing. I claw at my temples, trying to hold the pictures in, but they slide through my fingers like smoke. I can't even remember my mother's real voice anymore, only the distorted version from the voicemail. Wrong again, the page says, almost gently, timer at 10 once more. 6. Global sound leaks through the walls now, even though every window is frozen shut. Church bells, thousands of them, from every cathedral, every village chapel, every mission in the jungle, ringing backward. The bronze notes climb instead of fall. A funeral toll played in reverse, like time itself is being unsung. On the TV, still stuck on the news. A reporter in St. Peter's Square drops her microphone as the Vatican bells join the chorus. Weeping tears of molten metal that fall upward into the night sky. Statues are crying too. I see it on the split screen. The Virgin in Lourdes, tears defying gravity, rising in perfect streams toward a moon that looks suddenly too close. Saints with upward running blood from stigmata that never opened. 5. Ash leaps back onto the desk, knocks my bleeding hand aside, and plants both front paws squarely on thrice, the cursor though locks there. She looks at me, ears forward, pleading. I understand them, with a clarity that hurts worse than the ink. She's been trying to make me choose thrice this whole time. Complete the denial, finish the biblical loop, break the cycle the way Peter never could. I shove her off again. She lands with a thud and doesn't get up. I click once. Everything stops. The bells cut dead. The upward tears hang suspended like glass beads on invisible strings. My reflection in the microwave door flickers, then vanishes entirely. I have no face in mirrors anymore, just smooth skin where features should be. The page turns soft pink, like dawn on flesh. Correct. A final question blooms, larger than the others, letters dripping like fresh wounds. Shall the uncreation continue? 2 buttons. Yes, no. No timer this time. Just eternity waiting for my answer. I look down at Ash. She's on her side now, breathing shallow. One paw stretched toward me. The sigil in her eyes is fading, green bleeding back and round the edges, and in that dying gold I see flashes, not mine, hers. A stone chamber in 1357, 7 cardinals screaming as their skin chars from the inside. A small gray cat, same torn ear, same ribs, leaping onto a burning altar, trying to scatter the pages with desperate paws, while monks in smoke-blackened robes drag her away. She failed then. She's been waiting 668 years for someone stupid enough to open the book again so she could finish what she started. She wasn't leading it in. She was trying to keep it out. I reach for no. My finger is an inch from the trackpad when the temperature bottoms out completely. Frost explodes across the floor in the shape of a cross. My shadow detaches from my feet, stretches upward, and nails itself to the invisible beams of an unseen crucifix, arms out, head lolling, darkness twisting in agony. The nails are real. I hear them hammer home, wet and meaty. I scream without taste, without childhood, without reflection, and in the silence after the scream, something behind me, patient, vast, and smiling with my stolen face, whispers the one word I still understand. Choose. Chapter 8. The Final Veil. I'm on my knees in the frost, staring at the 2 buttons that will decide whether the world keeps its God or loses him forever. Yes. No. The cursor hovers in the middle, trembling like it's afraid to land. My shadow is still nailed to the floor behind me, writhing in slow motion, the invisible hammer striking over and over with wet, meaty thuds that echo inside my chest. I have no reflection, no taste, no childhood left, just the swollen black tongue and the guilt that's been festering since I was 14 and my little brother died. The manuscript knows. The white page dissolves into memory I thought I'd buried. I'm in the hospital corridor again. Fluorescent lights buzzing like angry hornets. Mom clutching her rosary so hard the beads cut her palms. Dad silent, staring at the floor like it might open and swallow him whole. The doctor's words float back. We did everything we could. Everything. Except the miracle we prayed for on our knees every night for 6 months while cancer ate Tommy alive. I was the one who stopped believing first. I was the one who told him, the night before he slipped away, that maybe there was no one listening. His last smile was small, forgiving. Mine was a lie. The memory flickers on every screen now, projected in grainy home video light. 8-year-old Tommy waving at the camera on his last Christmas, bald from chemo, eyes too bright. Then the feed zooms on my face in the corner of the frame, sullen, angry at God for ignoring us. The entity overlays text in my own childhood handwriting across little Tommy's chest. You denied me first. Alex, let me return the favor. Tears freeze on my cheeks. I reach for no, but the cursor slides away, dragged by something cold wrapped around my wrist that isn't there. Ash drags herself across the floor, belly low, blood trailing from where I shoved her. The sigil in her eyes is almost gone, just faint embers now. She's dying. I can see it in the way her ribs hitch. 668 years of trying to stop this, and I broke her for it. She locks eyes with me, and I understand. She's not asking permission anymore. On the far shelf, behind dusty college textbooks and unpaid bills, sits the one thing I never threw away. A small glass vial on a faded blue ribbon, holy water from my own baptism. The one Grandma pressed into my hand the day I moved out with tears in her eyes. For when you come back to him, mijo, you will. You always do. Ash gathers what strength she has left, coils, and launches. She hits the shelf like a gray comet. The vial tumbles, ribbon fluttering. Time slows. I watch it spin end over end, catching the laptop's white glow like a falling star. Ash twists midair, uses her last momentum to bat it straight toward the keyboard. It shatters on impact. Holy water explodes across the trackpad, the screen, the vents. For one heartbeat, nothing. Then the laptop screams. Not digital distortion, real, human agony, layered 1,000 deep. Cardinals burning in 1357, heretics at the stake. Every suppressed voice the church ever silenced howling at once. Sparks erupt in blue-white arcs. The white page fractures, spider-webbing black. The hollow pope on every screen throws its head back, mouth opening in a silent O, as cracks race across its mirrored face. The buttons vanish. Ash lands hard, collapses. The embers in her eyes wink out. The smell of ozone and scorched plastic fills the room. Frost retreats from the walls like a tide going out. The shadow on the floor rips free from its nails with a wet pop and slinks back under my feet, cowering. On the cracked screen, final text flickers in dying light, letters melting. You chose poorly. The laptop gives one last convulsion, speakers vomiting a gout of black liquid that steams and evaporates before it hits the floor, then goes dark, real dark, power out dark. Silence so complete I hear my own heart start again. I crawl to Ash. Her side is still. I pull her into my lap, cradling the small broken body that carried 6 centuries of failure just to save an ungrateful apostate like me. Her fur is warm for the first time all night. I'm sorry, I whisper to the empty room, to the dead cat, to the little brother I couldn't save, to whatever is left of God. I'm so sorry. The crucifix on the wall creaks once, rights itself. Outside, far away, church bells begin to ring forward again, tentative, then stronger, like the world is learning how to pray in the right direction. I sit there until dawn, holding what's left of my guardian, waiting for the next knock that never comes. Chapter 9, The Shared Memory. The smoke smells like old incense and burnt plastic, curling lazy from the laptop's corpse. It's quiet for the first time in hours. Real quiet. The kind you feel in your bones when the world decides to give you one last breath before the end. Ash is limp in my arms, lighter than she's ever been. The torn ear that always twitched at distant sirens hangs still. I rock her anyway, the way you rock a child who's already gone, whispering sorry over and over until the word loses meaning. My tears fall on her fur and don't freeze anymore. The frost is retreating, sucking back into the corners like a tide, ashamed of itself. The shadow on the floor has folded itself small again, just a normal shadow, hugging my knees. The crucifix stays upright, outside. The first real church bell of the morning rings forward, clean, bronze, hopeful. Then another joins it, say, and another, until the city sounds like it's waking up from a nightmare it doesn't remember having. My phone, cracked and dead on the tiles, doesn't buzz. The TV is black glass. The laptop sits gutted, holy water still dripping from its seams in slow, sacred drops. I laugh. It hurts my ruined tongue. But I laugh anyway, because for one impossible second, I think we did it. Ash did it. 668 years, one broken cat, and a thimble of baptism water from a grandmother who never stopped believing I'd come home. I close Ash's eyes with trembling fingers. The laptop screen flickers. Not dead, never dead. Just a hairline crack of white light at first. Then the whole display flares back to life, brighter than before, searing afterimages across my vision. The melted plastic around the edges steams but doesn't burn. The holy water beads up and rolls away like oil, centered on the screen. Pristine black text on pure white. Shall the third witness be remembered forever? Yes. A red countdown starts at 10. 10. I drop Ash's body and lunge, fingers clawing for the power button that isn't there anymore. The keyboard is a melted ruin, keys fused into one black scar. The trackpad is glass smooth, cursor already sliding on its own toward yes. 9. No, I croak. We ended you. The cursor pauses, almost polite. 8. I slam my palm down, trying to cover the screen, smash it, anything. My hand passes straight through the display like it's mist, pixels rippling around my wrist. Cold, colder than the frost ever was, seeps into my bones. 7. The message changes beneath the countdown, gentle, almost proud. You were never the one choosing. Alex, you were the messenger. 6. Every device I own, phone, tablet, the smart TV that hasn't worked in months, pings awake again. Contacts list scrolls on its own. Mom's name, old college friends, the priest who baptized me, even the random numbers I never saved. Every single one highlights. 5. The cursor inches closer to yes. I grab Ash's body, press her cooling paw to the trackpad like she can still fight. Nothing. She's gone. I'm alone. 4. A new line appears. Thank you for your apostolate. 3. I scream, wordless, and hurl the laptop across the room. It hits the wall, screen shattering into a spider web, but the countdown keeps going, now projected on the plaster itself, red numbers bleeding down the paint. 2. The cursor clicks. Yes. Every device chimes in perfect harmony. File sent. 2. All contacts. The subject. A gift from a friend. Attachment. Liber Sus Terti. Testis Spinal. Zip. 4.7 GB 1. The projection fades. The room goes soft with real dawn light filtering through the blinds. Pink and ordinary. The smell of burnt plastic thins. My phone, somehow whole again, buzzes once on the floor. Notification, upload complete. I collapse beside Ash, staring at the ceiling. The crucifix is upside down again. I never heard it move. Her body is still warm when her eyes snap open. Not green, not gold. They're the exact color of my laptop screen right now. Pure, empty white. And in them, I see a reflection that isn't mine. I see you, sitting wherever you are, watching this, thumb hovering over your own download folder. Ash's dead mouth doesn't move, but I hear her voice clear as the morning bell outside. If you're reading this in your downloads right now, what would you have chosen? Tell me in the comments and tag a friend who still needs to accept the witness. Because the file finishes scanning in 10, 9, 8,